Alright, so part 13. So last time I got this band room handled and I put a bunch of people inside a very tiny mess room. And I might do that again with today's festivities. Try to put some guys in here. Maybe not as many because, you know, officers' room and whatnot. But we'll see. And yeah, other than that, guess gonna want to start working on maybe the sick bay and other stuff, but we'll see if I get to there or not. All right, here we go. All right, and this is a little spoiler alert. Now I actually do make it to getting some work done on the sick bay, and now you're gonna see me in a little bit. You'll see me do something kind of bizarre, almost a frustrated move, but it was actually well thought out at the time. But as you can see right now, what I'm doing is simply folding these chairs, finagling them once again with the very good. So those blue cutters, I got those from Micromark. I think they're what is it? Photo etch scissors, I think, or something like that. Highly recommend. Not paid by them, just I found them, to be a very useful supplier of stuff. And as you can see, I'm trying to fold a couple chairs at once to try and glue a bunch of them in place all at the same time, rather than accepting the fact that attrition is a thing that happens. And apparently so is a super glue letting go, at least for that one staircase. It's done this to me a lot, actually. I think you may have even seen it in some of the past videos. So there I am. I tried doing the chairs in place first. Then the little table popped off. And so now I'm trying a bunch of folding and finagling, trying to get the next chair in. And I have some difficulties with this. So, yeah, I think what I did is I glued those two chairs in, then put that table back, and realized I was having some difficulties or something. Oh boy. Yep, there I go again, trying to glue it in place, and again having some trouble before finally getting in right. What I've learned is it's better to hold down it with a point, hold the thing down, and then try to poke it with the super glue, essentially droplet that forms at the end of the super glue applicator. I've learned that works pretty well for getting these things on there. So here I go again, and another chair, and I think it was about here or after the next one, trying to fit everything in between those two tables that I realized this wasn't quite going to be the approach that worked good. And then, much like a spoiled kid, I decided to destroy the thing that I had worked on. But let's see. Nope, I guess it took me both those chairs to learn that lesson. Oh well. Yep, fold it in, using the snips to try to cut things down that are excessive on it. And again, getting some super glue on there. The super glue's off the camera, so if you see me reaching off the camera, it might be for that. There I go. That reached for super glue, and there we go. I push it in, try to get the thing in place, try to have the whole thing, everything glued in nicely, and then I learned that it's not going to go in nicely, and I might as well just do things a very different way that I thought of, which I'll explain in the next slow speed section. But now I'm just cleaning that area of the excess super glue, and essentially, I'm just drawing out where I think they're going to go, and then using those as a placement guide for the chairs. So now, whole new set of chairs, rapidly eroding my photo etch. I'm probably going to have to do something about that in short order. But until then, I'm going to keep going, see if I can't at least get this deck section done before I think about that kind of horror and pain and suffering and torment. And speaking of pain and suffering and torment, here is a normal speed section. So just briefly, while trying to position this twit here. So the last clip, you saw me decide to nuke the entire officer's room, or mess room, and you're probably wondering, did I decide that that's it? I'm done with tables and the ship is now in mutiny? No, I'm not that crazy, not yet, although this chair is pushing my patience. So I'm thinking maybe I should put the chairs down first and have general outlines of where I want the tables. That might work a little better. Make things a little more placeable. Then, I can glue the chairs down one at a time directly with the least amount of obstruction. Assuming that these chairs can learn what work means. Assuming these tweezers learn what trash can means. Grumble, grumble. Okay, looks like I gotta grab another chair and try again. I said it before, I'll say it again. Alarmingly high attrition rates. Yep, and that's why I have to do so many things of me photo etching, because I somehow got to make up for these alarmingly high attrition rates. So there I go, happily once again folding a tiny chair and putting it in position. Now, just as a sort of afterthought, I thought I might as well mention this. These chairs were never meant to actually be essentially two solid side things where the legs are and a solid side thing for the back. I had always meant for there to be two visible legs down there on each side, so it would have 4 legs and look like a chair. Unfortunately, the photo etching gods have not been kind to me. I guess I have yet to figure out what to sacrifice to who. But yeah, I figured I'd just mention that for some reason. So, but anyways, now I'm putting these chairs again. The folding with the tweezers, the cutting with the sharp cutters there, the photo etch scissors is what they're called. And folding them into position, trying to drop them in. I've learned that putting some glue on them beforehand, it really is the best way, and I just have to learn to deal with the difficulties of placing these things in the glue and everything else. And again, just have to accept the fact that this is going to have very high attrition rates. So there I go, I'm cutting something out. I think, yep, must be one of the tables. So there I go, folding again the tables. And this one actually has side legs. So, yeah, that one actually came out well enough to have them. Had to do a bit more working with it, trying to make it all work. And there's me again clearing out the often gummed up super glue applicator. It really is the only tool that lets me do this, unless like a thin enough hypodermic and a slow drying thin CA were available. But I wouldn't want to slow dry because I want to keep working if I'm using super glue. CA or cyanoacrylate is a shorthand for super glue, especially in technical circles. Anyway, so again, folding yet another chair to put into position after cutting down all the gunk out of that tip there. And yeah, I can't think of a good song to hum. So once again, yep, just doing this one at a time, trying to fold and cut. Sometimes I lose these pieces, sometimes I mangle them. But overall, this is me putting in all these nice chairs here. And what I'm going to end up doing is putting all the chairs in first, again, before putting the next bench down. And after this next upcoming time-lapse section, which is approaching us, I'll try to describe what my thought process for doing that exactly was. But until then, here's me moving in slow motion. Hey, so while making this video, I saw a little something change on my YouTube channel. Welcome, 9th subscriber. Thank you for joining. I wish I knew how to, figure out people's usernames that subscribed, so I could, actually say, call you up a name. But thank you for coming, whoever you are. And with that, I want to go ahead and just explain a little bit of this now, because there it is in all its glory. Yeah, I like this method of putting these tables out and putting them together a lot more, lest to get things a bit closer. But I'm not sure if I'll do just the 2 sets of chairs or I'll do all 3 that I was thinking of. We'll see. I don't even have enough chairs to do all 3 at this point, though. That's a bit, yeah, well, wait, hold on. Oh, no, just barely, maybe. if I can excavate one of them out of there. But yeah, so welcome to the channel, and I'm going to go ahead and get back to it. Here we go. Alright, so the reasoning behind my putting down the chairs and then the tables and why I destroyed that whole thing first. I figured by putting the chairs down first, I'd have a bit more room to maneuver and a bit more ability to get the chairs down, as well as the idea that, hey, first you have, if this is a multi-layer thing, first you would have the deck, then you would have the chairs, and then the table kind of goes over them. So that was kind of my method of thinking, and it worked out really, really well, I'm not going to lie. It really was a lot easier to handle than doing this the other way, where I just kind of winged it. Not that I couldn't have done it the other way, as the other ERAs, I guess, mess shows, but it again was just a bit annoying to have to wait that long to set a table for 8 people. But there I go again, folding chairs, putting them down, gluing them on. And at some point, I will get to the part where I start adding a shelf in for the dispensary. I think this is the room I move to next. There we are. All right, just moving the slider a little while editing this, and yep. So I'm folding. There's a bench, and you might have seen it. That actually has the legs that I talked about trying to have. And once again, I clear out the super glue applicator with the scalpel. I get some thin CA and I try to have it nice and easily fit in. And I somehow managed to, I guess I thought I'd managed to get it to work nicely. And then I had to try a slightly different way of leaving super glue there first. And I think I eventually managed to get it. So there I just kind of checking out the fit, thinking of where I'm going to put other people on the lower floor. And then back to this and making sure I get a good idea of what all the rooms are. So that's when I see that room is a dispensary. Not the tiny room, but the slightly larger room next to the sick bay. Here I am. I believe this is me making something, whatever it is. I think this is a shelf to go in there. Nope, I guess I'm doing the water closet first, which means you had to make a toilet, and that's what I've been using I've been using chairs to do that, too. So there I go. And so now you know why the bathrooms all have white chairs. I'm having them be stand in for a toilet. I think this is something I mentioned back in the original list of Dreadnought videos, but if not, I would have mentioned it earlier in this series of Redux videos. But moving right along, so there we go, cut some things down. I think this is me trying to get the shelf bit. Yep, cutting a shelf out of what was originally made to be I think it was originally made to be a shell bin, and a powder box thing or something. Because I saw some pictures where they were similar enough shape that I could do a sleight of hand and get the most use out of my materials. So here I go, once again, trying with some limited success an eventual success, to get the plastic placed correctly into that shelf thing. There I go, trying to place it in. And it doesn't quite fit in super good, but it fits in well enough that it stays throughout this process, where I actually had to scrape it off my desk because super glue got under that thing and super glued it to the desk, and then put it back into position on the model. So I have to use super glue to position these pieces in the model, because these pieces are photo etched metal and the plastic is plastic, so a solvent is out of the question. There's me hemming and hawing about how exactly I want to do the next bit of the dispensary, and I decided to put it in another shelf. But yeah, that's what. And what else did I say? I just said something else that I forgot. Oh well. Yep. Once again, put the thing together. Try to get a nice, well-fitting piece of plastic to stick in there and stay like a good little shelf. And eventually, somehow I convinced that by putting in more super glue with the proper applicator and trying to hold it down nicely and gently peel the piece off before eventually, off the tweezers, and then eventually getting the whole new shelf in there. And then building up one of the last chairs, I think, is how I, yep, that's one of the last chairs for the dispensary. To have a guy guarding it eventually. Just, someone opens a door and, this dispensary would be something you'd want controlled. I did put down a desk, but then I decided against it because I think I might explain it in this upcoming normal motion clip that it kind of ruined the illusion for me of this having doors and rather than being a model. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and go to slow motion me, which will tell you some details I probably already told you. Alright, so I'm about to start the sick bay now. And I was going to add a little, desk with to that chair in the dispensary room. That's this little guy right there. But I found that it kind of broke the illusion a bit because that desk was about as tall as the door. So I'm just going to leave the chair there instead. Maybe have a guy sitting on it waiting for people to visit. Kind of a guard for the dispensary. Alright, let's see how much battery I got left on this thing so I can get started on this here sick bay. Here we go. And evidently I didn't have quite that much battery power left. Almost my normal 18-minute limit with this set of filming, but not quite. It was 17 minutes and 59 seconds. The normal time is actually 18 minutes, and 40 seconds, give or take. But anyways, so what I've got here is first I put down a chair and a desk in the corner there to look like some kind of doctor on call, taking notes about patients, writing little things in a notebook like we had to give this one heroin. This one's a sissy and wants to go home. This one's probably gonna die in account if he was exposed to something he shouldn't have been. So, yeah, and those I think are kind of notes that you would have seen back on a ship, but I'm not gonna get that grisly in the scene I create here in the sick bay. So there I go. I take one of the guys I have, I cut again at about the legs and try to put him in position. First, I cut him a little too tall. So I cut his legs down a little more, and then I put him back at that desk, and it looks like he's good. So once he looks good in that way, I glue him in position so that he stays there, we hope. And then I get to working on the two beds, which are essentially just pieces of plastic stock. That's the piece right there. I used some of the unfolded metal bench things to get a length that looked about appropriate. And I use this guy as a guide, and right when I start making the second bed is when this thing cuts out. So I'm going to cut out here for the end of this video. Alright, and with some beds in the sick bay put up, so ends Dreadnought 13. Alright, so it's, so far I kind of like the increased release speed I've been doing. Hopefully I can keep that going. And other than that, next time I'll finish the sick bay and get to adding again more officers' quarters and such. And well, also, that's about it. Again, thank you, new subscribers. And well, till next time, peace out. And now for my standard YouTube dance, because I guess that's what everybody does. So like, share, subscribe, hooray! Hope you all enjoyed that. Peace out.